Good day, everybody. It's good to have you back. Okay, today we'll be speaking about computer data sizes, data measurement, and how to convert between data measurement types. Okay. One time I tried to copy movies from a friend's computer, and my friend had about 100 movies or more than, and I had a 2 gig flash. Some of you would know, using a 2 gig flash, I was only able to copy about 4 to 6 movies. And yeah, so that's one application of it. And it's very important, actually, like I said, for you to know how to convert between these data types so that you can calculate and know exactly how much data can fit into your drive and what to do in the case when all of the data doesn't fit into one drive. So the most basic measurement of data is called a bit. A bit is actually how the computer communicates. Most times we say the computer's language is either zeros or ones. So that zero or that one what makes up the bit. Now we also have what we call a nibble. Everybody say nibble. Nibbles are actually a combination of 4 bits. Just like we have here, a nibble is these first four together. And these first four combined with these next four make up 1 byte. So 8 bits make 1 byte. And in computers, you never will have the byte as a string of 8 together. It's usually broken into nibbles. Now, if a computer fetches all of these 8 bits and performs the instructions that these 8 bits tell it to do once, that is called a word. In this case, I have a word which consists of 2 sets of nibbles. So if the computer performs all of these zeros and ones at once, then we can call that a word. So a word can have as many as 4 bits, 8 bits, 16 bits, or even 32 bits in one word. The main thing to understand about a word is that the computer is performing all of those zeros and ones at the same time. That's what makes it a word. So far, we've learned what a bit is, what a nibble is, what a byte is, and what a word is. Next, we'll be going into kilobytes. A kilobyte consists of 1024 bytes. Now, this is very common CT. Lots of times you hear people say byte, kilobyte. It's literally the most common way to quantify memory. Interestingly, I'd like to let you know that there's something which is not as popular called KB byte, and the KB byte is exactly 1000 bytes. Next, we have megabyte. Megabyte consists of 1024 kilobytes. We have the gigabyte. Gigabyte consists of about 1024 megabytes. And gigabytes are actually used to refer to sizes of applications, databases, high definition videos, as well as the size of cloud storage. Next, we have the terabyte. Terabytes are large memory banks. Terabytes are used in scientific research databases, as well as enterprise level storage systems. You have a lot of huge companies like Lumia and the rest. We also have petabyte, exabytes. I'll just give you an assignment right now. You're writing all of the units to tell me 1 zettabyte equals dash exabyte, 1 exabyte equals dash continue all that way. So you just start from bits, nibble, word, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and continue all in that manner. And I want at least 10 steps. So using the internet, tell me the 10 steps of memory that exist. Now, how do we convert data? How do we convert from megabytes to, let's say, another data type? I'm just going to show you how to do that right now.
How you can convert between kilobytes, megabytes and gigabytes, right? So it's important to note that 1024 kilobytes equals 1 megabyte and 1024 megabytes equals 1 gigabyte, right? So the factor we use for conversion is 1024, right? And I've made a diagram here to explain this better when we're converting. Okay, so if we are converting from kilobyte to megabyte, we need to divide by 1024. And if we are converting from megabyte to gigabyte, we again need to divide the megabytes by 1024. On the other hand, if we are working backwards, if we had to convert gigabyte to megabytes, we'll multiply the amount in gigabytes by 1024. And if we are converting megabytes to kilobytes, again we'll multiply the amount we have in megabytes by 1024. Now, how do we decide whether we multiply or divide? Well, it's very easy, right? All you need to remember is which unit is smaller and which is higher. So kilobytes is small or smaller than megabytes, and megabytes is smaller than gigabytes, right? They are smaller units of measurement. So you start at kilobytes and then megabytes and then gigabytes. So from kilobytes to megabytes, if I'm going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, I will always have to divide. If I'm coming from a larger unit to a smaller unit, for example, if I'm converting from megabyte to kilobyte or gigabyte to megabyte, I will always multiply, right? So from a larger unit of measurement, I will always have to multiply if I'm converting to a smaller unit of measurement, right? If I'm converting from a smaller unit of measurement to a larger unit of measurement, I will always have to divide, right? And the conversion factor that you use in order to convert between these three units of measurement is 1024. Now we'll do some examples just to understand better, right? So for example, how many megabytes are there in 2048 kilobytes, right? So we are converting kilobytes to megabytes. We need to divide by 1024. So the formula is megabytes is equal to kilobytes divided by 1024. And once we substitute the amount, 2048 kilobytes divided by 1024, the answer we get is 2 megabytes, right? In this example, how many gigabytes are there in 4096 megabytes, right? So we're converting megabytes to gigabytes. We need to divide by 1024. So the formula is gigabytes is equal to megabytes divided by 1024. So we substitute the amount 4096 divided by 1024 will give us 4 gigabyte, right? So the answer is 4 gigabytes. In this example, how many gigabytes are there in 20,000 kilobytes, right? So we are converting kilobytes to gigabytes. That means first we need to convert kilobytes to megabytes and then megabytes to gigabytes. So we need to divide kilobytes twice by 1024. So the formula becomes kilobytes divided by 1024 multiplied by 1024, right? Because we are dividing kilobytes twice by 1024. So once you equate that and substitute the kilobytes amount, you get 20,000 divided by 1,048,576. And once you equate that, the answer is 0.019 gigabytes. In this example, convert 5 megabytes to kilobytes, right? So we're going backwards now. to convert megabytes back to kilobytes. So the formula is kilobytes is equal to megabytes multiplied by 1024. So we'll substitute the amount. We've got 5 megabytes multiplied by 1024, and the answer we get is 5120 kilobytes. So notice the answer, or the amount 5, increases to 5120 because now we're converting a larger unit to a smaller unit, right? So we are multiplying. In this example, convert 3.5 gigabytes to megabytes, right? Again, we are converting a larger unit to a smaller unit, so the answer will obviously be higher than 3.5. So the formula is megabytes is equal to gigabytes multiplied by 1024. We'll substitute the amount, so 3.5 multiplied by 1024 gives us 3584 megabytes. In this example, convert 3.5 gigabytes to kilobytes, right? So now we are converting gigabytes to megabytes and then to kilobytes, right? The formula becomes kilobytes is equal to gigabytes multiplied by 1024 multiplied by 1024, right? I've put the 1024 in brackets so we can calculate that first and then multiply it with the gigabyte amount. And why we're using two 1024s? Simply because we first need to convert it to megabytes and then convert it to kilobytes, right? So we multiply by 1024 twice. So once we substitute the amounts, the formula becomes 3.5 multiplied by 1,048,576, and once you equate that, the answer we get is 3,670,016 kilobytes, right? So that's how we convert gigabyte to kilobyte.
Please make sure you remember how to do this calculation. I'm also going to put this in your CA test, and you can be sure that it'll come out in your exam as well. So yeah, find a way to watch this video again in case you're having problems with converting between any data types, or also send me an email and I'll be happy to help.